This is the Rider Nation Podcast, an in-depth look at the Saskatchewan Roughriders. Here's your hosts, Maz and Justin Dunk.
Always a good time to talk. Saskatchewan Roughriders are undefeated. Maz McFly, Justin Dunk, and special guest from Mom's house in the Deep South, two-time Grey Cup going into the Platter in 2024, Darian Durant, to the Rider Nation Podcast. Well, should we say welcome back home too? On 620 CKRM on the Sports Cage since April, as you make your way back into Rider Nation. Look at that smile. I think people miss that. They haven't seen that in a long time.
I'm excited, man. Just every week I look forward to being on and talking football. It's been great.
We'll get into this real quick before I jump into Rider football. You're coming back home to Rider Nation for Labor Day, and on Saturday, August 31st at Casino Regina, we're doing Dinner with Doubles, which is a chance for Rider fans to come and meet you, have a drink, talk football. Darian and friends on the stage, and Rider Roundtable tickets are on sale at Casino Regina. And we're not giving anything away yet, but you're working on the guest list, the Darian and friends portion. How's that going so far? What are the reach outs been?
I've been getting some excellent feedback from the guys, man. I've actually have gotten contacted by more guys that I would have liked. Everyone wants to come up. Labor Day is such an exciting weekend, and a lot of my former teammates would love to come up. So it's going well. I think we'll have a lot of options, and we'll have some exciting news coming soon to announce a couple guests here.
Awesome. The Saskatchewan Roughriders 4-0. Dunk, you want to take it from here? As far as we're 4-0, but are people not giving us the respect for being one of the two undefeated teams in the CFL?
It's possible, but real quick, I want to get Darian's story behind his first career CFL start, because we saw Shea Patterson go through that. So, Darian, do you remember it in detail?
Absolutely. My first playing time actually came in 2006, but in 2008, Marcus Crandall went down early in the season against the BC Lions, and then I was actually the third string quarterback at the time, and Stephen Giles was next up, and he went in and he struggled a little bit, and then I was able to bring that BC game home. So the next week is what led up to my first start. It was against the Hamilton Tiger Cats in Hamilton. And, I was so nervous, but ended up going out and having an amazing game, threw for over 300 yards and got the win. And, it was an exciting moment for me, because a lot of quarterbacks don't have, success in their first starts in the CFL. So it's not an easy feat.
That sounds similar to Patterson, because he cleaned up the Tiger Cats game, brought them home for the win, and then got the start the next week with Trevor Harris on the 6-game injury with that lower body injury. What stood out to you that went on behind the scenes to prepare you for that first start, Darian?
I think just being with a veteran squad, veteran coaching staff, just having the support of everyone. You can't do it alone. And, we had an amazing defense. We had veteran receivers. We had a great offensive coordinator in Coach Lapalisse. So, the pieces were in place, and I had a great supporting cast around me. And that's what you need to have success, especially as a young quarterback. You have to have the pieces in place, from the coaching staff to the guys around you. And having a defense that plays lights out, it also helps as well.
Patterson said that Trevor Harris was really integral. My last one here, quick, then I'll throw it back to you, Maz. In terms of getting him ready. For you, Marcus Crandall was around. Did he help out, or did he kind of let you find your way?
No, Marcus was great. Marcus always helped me out in every single way. Any questions that I would have, he was always there for me. Helped me with, game preparations and studying film, you name it. So Marcus was always there for me. And then, having Coach Lapalisse there as well, he was a big part of my development early on in my career. So I have to give him a lot of credit. He definitely, helped me come together as a younger quarterback.
I think it's safe to say that Patterson didn't get off to the best start in that game. He goes 1 for 6. If there's something you could have told him at that time, what would have a Darian Durant needed to hear if that wasn't going that well, but you need to pull it together? What's your advice to him when it's just not getting off to the start he wants?
You know what? Even though you may not be getting the completions that you want, things may not be going your way, you're not turning the ball over. That's so crucial for a young guy to not put your defense in bad situations. I think he did an amazing job of that. He held the ball when he needed it, when he needed to. He tucked the ball and ran, and they punted. I mean, I think that gets lost in a lot of spectators. They expect all of these big plays and things that excite the crowd, but whenever you can punt and you give the other team a long field, you help your team out so much. So even though he didn't get those early completions, he made sure that he protected the ball, and he didn't put the team in bad situations.
Four and 0, but people saying we're 4-0. We haven't beaten anybody. Last time the team started 4-0, it was in 2013. So, as a player, are you feeling disrespect, or are you just whatever with the underdog? How are you approaching this? Because your record is what your record is. We didn't make the schedule. We just went out and won the game.
Yeah, you can't help who you play, right? I mean, you just play the team that's on your schedule. I would use it as motivation for sure. I mean, you have to understand why people may feel that you beat a 0-4 Hamilton team, you beat Edmonton, and then you beat a team in Toronto without their starting quarterback. So, but we'll see this week. I think we need to just stay optimistic, just relax, and let's just see what happens this week on the road. This will be the biggest test of the season by far, and we'll really see where this team can stack up against a very, very good opponent.
Shea Patterson going into his second start, Darian. What is it like to go from that first start to the second start? Because now there's more game film out there on him, and specifically game film from Mark Mueller in terms of how he game planned for Shea Patterson as his quarterback in that opening start. So what's it like for you to make that adjustment, not only going into your second start, but to become a quarterback who is a consistently even solid performer week in and week out?
Yeah, it'll definitely be a lot tougher this week. Now that, as you mentioned, there's a little bit more film. You have some tendencies down, and not only that, you're going into a crazy atmosphere like BC Place. It's so hard to play there, and this BC Lions team is fired up. They're the number one offense in the league, so it's definitely not going to be easy going in there against a team that's hot and is firing on pretty much all cylinders. So, for him, if he can just go in and once again just take care of the ball and make sure he doesn't hurt the defense has just been playing lights out football, 10 turnovers over the past few weeks. So if he could just go in and rely on the defense and not hurt them and, just keep the game close, I think that's the best way that the Riders can have a chance in this game.
Mullender said after the game, this was, and I'd love to get your takes, an old school smash mouth football game, the Argos Riders, where both the offensive and defensive lines had to earn it on every play. Did you see the same thing? Because you see that a lot anymore.
Absolutely. I think you're going to see, especially, two teams playing with their backup quarterback. You're going to see more physicality. You're going to see two teams running the ball. You're going to see who wants it more, because, we all know that when you're playing your backup quarterback, especially two teams, you're not going to have a lot of passing yards, and it's going to be basically a game of who can make the least amount of mistakes. So that definitely was an old school, let's run the ball. There's not a lot of trickerization going on. It's just straight up nose to nose football. It definitely had that feel to it.
What's the biggest challenge that BC poses to the Riders?
I think you're dealing with a quarterback and two receivers in McInnes and Hollins who are just clicking on all cylinders. They each and every week it seems like Vernon Adams is throwing for over 300, 320 yards. Hollins is at the top of his game, leading the league in receiving. And, you just see a very, very potent offense that can pretty much score with anyone, and that you're going to have to be able to score against this team in order to compete. So, that's what I want to see from this Rider offense. I get, the past couple games, it's been more of a smash mouth feel, scoring late. But I think against BC, you're going to have to put some touchdowns on the board, and, that's what you're going to have to do to compete.
They have been the comeback kids, but I think BC is so good and they can score so fast. I don't necessarily know that you're going to be able to, if they get a lead like they did in Hamilton, I don't know that the Riders can catch up. So basically, we got to go shot for shot. You'd mentioned the defense playing outstanding. I think one of the stats, and Justin, I don't know in the last time this has happened, the Riders haven't allowed a 100-yard rusher yet. What is Mesa's defense doing this year that has limited, because they've been up against a couple of good running backs. Like, what are they? Is it all scheme? Is it personnel? Like, why such success?
I think they've been really physical. Darian, I'd kind of divert to you on the X's and O's, but that's been priority number one for Corey Mace, since he's been a defensive coordinator with the Toronto Argonauts, has been take away the run. Then you know what you're going to get from these teams in second and long, which is likely, drop back pass. So I think they've been really physical up front. Micah Johnson and Anthony Lanier have balled out. Miles Brown, when he's been in there, we all saw that hit against James Butler in the Ticats game at home, has been ultra physical. I felt like it'd be great to get him back into the lineup, but they kind of had to shuffle based on a couple of injuries against the Argonauts. But to me, it's that physicality and the fact that they've been able to defend the run. Darian, correct me if I'm wrong, but largely with just 7 guys in the box, they haven't had to load up too much to stop the run.
Yeah, absolutely. And Coach Mace, he's not a very big blitz guy, so he relies on his front 6 or 7 to be able to, hold teams down in the run game. And as you mentioned, Micah Johnson has just turned back the hands of time, and he's just clogging up the middle. Even with his pass rushing, it's just been like the Micah Johnson of old. So he's been doing such a great job up front. And, he's being his head coaches. I'm not sure if they were teammates, but, his head coach played that position. So Micah knows exactly what to do, and he's learning from a guy who did it at a high level.
Last one here for you, Darian, and we appreciate the time coming on the podcast. Jameer Thurman has been excellent as a free agent signing, but is Roligan still the key to this Rider defense making it elite? Is he the one that they cannot go without?
Absolutely. I think that boundary halfback position is the toughest position on the defensive side of the ball, and you have to have a guy, a dog, at that position, and he's the key. He's the heartbeat of that defense. He has to travel to the wide side in loaded sets, and he could get isolated on that boundary side. So he's been doing such a great job of just adjusting to a new position and being the heartbeat of that defense.
All right, last one for you, because you've been honest with us ever since you've joined the all-new Sports Cage at 620 CKRM. Your prediction, Riders, BC Lions, who wins, score. And listen, hey, you
put them on the spot like that?
This is, but you've been brutally honest so far since you've joined us, which has been outstanding. And I get it. We're probably not going to go no. So, and coming from you, like as Justin, you said, the X's and O's mind, how does this game play in your mind come this weekend?
Yeah, you know what? I think it's going to be a tough one for the Riders. I just think that BC possesses so much firepower offensively, and they make you have to score touchdowns that I'm not sure if Shea Patterson's ready for that environment. He's ready for, to have to go in there and maybe throw 3 or 4 touchdowns passes in the air. So, I hate to say it, as much as I want us to win, I just think it's going to be a tough atmosphere, a tough game. BC is hot right now, and the way Vernon Adams is spreading the ball around offensively, it's going to be tough for anyone to beat BC, not just us, but anyone across the league.
All right. Darian, thanks. We got to let you get to your next gig, your double talk on the sports game. We'll get to that. Thanks, man. We'll catch up. If we don't see you before then, we will see you on Labor Day weekend.
Sounds good. Thanks for having me.
The Rider Nation Podcast. Like and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts or go to sportscage.com.